half games with an ankle injury. But Tamika will go into detail about how she's really trying to show off her complete game, and that was on display against Auburn last time out, a 30-point win for A&M. They led wire to wire on senior day against the Tigers. Back home here at Reed Arena, their final regular season home game. They need a win here to keep their spot hosting in the opening round of the NCAA is very much alive, and the opening tip is controlled by A&M in their home gray here tonight. And Alabama in the road crimson.
And right off the bat, one of the things to note, Coach Curry talked about they will play different defenses. In the first game, when Texas A&M actually won, Sierra Johnson with that bucket right there. In the first game, Texas A&M, one thing that Alabama, they doubled down low on Sierra Johnson. That was something, one of the big differences they said they will not be doing tonight.
On the other end, the other Sierra Johnson in this game, the senior from Mobile, is getting a start here today for Arkansas. She was a starter in the past, and here she is, number 4 for Alabama. They try to work it inside, trouble on the inside for Uriah Copeland. There's Abrams. Doesn't get the roll, and a second chance here for the Crimson Tide. Perhaps a third chance, but India Jones comes away with it for Kennedy Carter. They look on the inside again. Jones can't finish, but she's not finished. Outstanding rebounder. Her numbers off the charts in conference play, averaging 15 points a game, 13 boards a game in SEC games.
And India Jones, she's just so active around the basket. You saw it that last play, able to get her own rebound. Jasmine Walker, that shot.
Hit 4 threes in the win against Mississippi State on Sunday. You see the A&M starting 5 with Carter, Washington, Wells, Jones, and Johnson. Wells tries to drive on Copeland. Johnson takes it a little bit outside. And a rebound for Jasmine Walker. Walker, excellent rebounder, top 10 in the conference, first on the team at 7 a game. Good little feed inside, and Alabama has their first lead. Copeland from Walker.
And what a great drive by Walker right there. She eyes the defense coming up, able to get Sierra Johnson a bite just enough to get that nice little bounce pass.
Carter defended by Abrams. Now the switch over Walker.
Great hustle right there by Sierra Johnson.
And a reset here for A&M. Aggies 22-5 on the season, 10-4 in the conference. They've won 4 in a row after losing back-to-back games. Sierra Johnson back the other way, a little hesitation. Walker, another look for 3.
Well, this is the part right here. You got to be a little worried if you're Texas A&M. Obviously, it's still early in the game, but Alabama coming off with so much confidence from the win against Mississippi State. They know that they're going up against another top 25 team, and they have a great opportunity in front of them.
Carter lost the handle for the moment. A&M is 1 of 7 from the field to start here. Lewis runs the point. Looking for Walker again, and now Wells just trying to extend the defense. Sierra Johnson. Rebounded to Jones.
Texas A&M trying to find a way to get another basket.
Jordan Lewis. Walker blows by Wells. What a start for junior Jasmine Walker.
When you have a coach like Coach Curry, Christy Curry on the bench, screaming and yelling for you, and even in the huddles, the way that she's able to communicate to her teammate, you know, that was something that you could tell. You could see that the players love playing for her.
This is very similar to the Mississippi State game when Walker can't hit this time. Alabama went on an 11-0 run, and Walker had 10 straight points in that run. This is a 10-0 run for Alabama with 8 of the points coming from Walker.
Well, you got to get the ball in the hands of somebody who's hot. And when you know a player is hot, you got to find them.
Carter will get a trip to the free throw line. She was 0 for 5 to start against Mississippi State, then got those 20 points in the second half, as we showed you before, part of that big comeback, and just picking right up here on Thursday night in College Station.
Well, I mean, she's taking everything that Texas A&M has given her. They're giving her those wide open shots, those threes on the side. You see the 20-point game that she had, all in the second half on Sunday. It's almost like she's just continuing the flow that she had from Sunday and bringing it right in.
Ashley Knight into the game for Alabama as Copeland goes to the bench. The foul on Abrams, her first, as Carter gets her first point. First points. If I just waited a couple seconds, I could have taken care of two things with one sentence. But you know, as you have found out, economy of words isn't one of my strong suits. Johnson getting the start here today. Christy Curry telling us kind of like a reward for her. It hasn't been a great senior season. She's been coming off the bench. She was preseason second-team all-conference, but really provided a spark on both ends of the floor against Mississippi State. Had 10 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists in the win on Sunday.
Well, I don't think it's more like a reward. I think it's when you have a player like that, and because she's been in the starting lineup before, you know what she's capable of doing. And I think it really starts on the defensive end. That is something that when you look at teams and you look at winning, defense is where you get it done, and that's something that Shambria Johnson has been able to do.
She just picked up her first personal foul. Amber Richardson will come in for Johnson. Richardson's got a lot of time as a starter this year, 23 games in all. Looks like Alabama setting up in a zone here, perhaps, as Tamika mentioned, will mix things up defensively, and Kennedy Carter knows how to find holes in a zone and in any defense.
Well, you send Kennedy Carter to the free throw line, you allow her to get back into her flow. She comes off that screen, and that's somewhere that she's just so dangerous. She's dangerous when she comes off the screen. She's really good at being able to read where the defense is and where she can pull up.
Got it back out to Lewis. Lewis tried to force it a pass. Good defense there as Washington read it, came down, and knocked it away. Looks like we're going to have a foul called here as we get to a timeout. Comes with 4:28 to go in the first quarter, and Alabama on top by 4 on the road. SEC Network Basketball is presented by Regions Bank, proud to be the official bank of the SEC. And then if you have a chance to get a win against Mizzou and get a couple of wins in the SEC tournament, well, then Charlie Cream is all of a sudden throwing you in the bubble category. And that's all you can ask for this time of year. Right now, they are out.
And anytime you get a chance to get to the conference tournament, and if you win or do really well during the tournament, you put yourself in a chance in a situation that you get a look and get in that bubble.
Well, that's something we'll talk about tonight. We'll talk about again on Sunday. Who's this year's Arkansas? The team that wasn't great at the end of the regular season, yet went into the SEC tournament and won 3 games and got into the championship game. So Jones gets a hoop out of the timeout, and Knight gets called for the travel. Knight was called for a foul before our media timeout. Brittany Davis will come in now for Alabama as Richardson will go out. Gary Blair's team 14-1 at home. Their loss was to LSU. That was a game they were leading in the first half. Kennedy Carter went down with the ankle injury in the first half. They ended up losing to the Tigers. Here's another foul on Alabama. That certainly was one of the keys here for Christy Curry coming into this game, Tamika. Limit the free throw attempts for Texas A&M. That's going to be the 4th team foul here on Alabama.
Well, you got to figure out how do you play by moving your feet. You already know that Kennedy Carter is going to attack the basket, as the whole team is going to attack the basket, so you got to keep them off the free throw line. But one of the places they struggled big time too was the three-point line. Shambria Washington 4 for 4 from the three-point the previous game, so that's another thing that we're looking at. So
after the 10-0 run by Alabama, it's an 8-0 run now by Texas A&M as Wilson scores. Knight picked up her second personal foul. Block on the perimeter by Jones. Abrams tees up. Lewis. And a rebound for A&M.
And Lewis is that point guard. She's that player that I feel like needs to get going. Like, they got to figure out a way. She's got to be more aggressive on the offensive end. Her team feeds off of her energy, and just even when she scores, you can tell she has a different swag about her.
Turnover by Sierra Johnson for A&M. Take you back to the hoop. Check it. That's the Wilson hoop after the one. Abrams. Off the window for two, it's Davis.
Great drive right there. Texas A&M trying to pick up their defensive intensity.
Bama had missed 6 straight field goal attempts. Johnson showing a range.
Nice, Sierra Johnson. Great shot right there. I mean, they're not going to guard her at that free throw line. That's one area that she's really worked on her game. That wasn't a shot she was able to hit a couple years ago. So every year it's about getting better.
A&M's defense is getting better as this first quarter moves on. Carter can't get the finger roll, and here comes Bama the other way. Lewis was fouled. That will be team foul number 1 on Texas A&M.
One of the things that Carter is so good at that's a play that you see her do every single day, but Lewis able to stand her ground.
Wilson picks up her first personal. Anna Barber comes into the game for Alabama. Walker can't hit. She cools off a little bit after her hot start.
But I like the fact that Walker is out there and that she's being aggressive and looking for a shot. And you look at the other players, everybody's kind of not necessarily, they're not attacking the basket. And that's one thing that you know Walker's going to do.
Barber with the rebound. Barber, good shooter, defended by Washington. Walker, great shooter. Not this time, and Carter's got the rebound.
Walker
and a turnover.
Steal. Great defense.
Davis in trouble, and it's Carter taking the charge.
Carter trying to show that not only can she do it on the offensive end, but able to sacrifice her body right there, just stays firm. You see Jasmine Walker come in, and Jasmine Walker, instead of pulling up, or Davis, excuse me, instead of pulling up, runs it over.
Gary Blair was telling us before the game about Kennedy Carter really showcasing her complete game. I didn't know if taking charges was part of that game, but now it is.
Defense. It's all about the defense, whatever it takes.
He thought she put on an absolute clinic against Auburn in that 30-point win. Just really was in the flow of the offense, got her teammates involved at the right time, the right teammate, shared the ball beautifully. Ended up with 23 points, 5 assists, and no turnovers in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's important about Kennedy Carter is the fact that you know what she's going to do. You know she's a scorer, and that's what she's looking to do. But she has been great since coming back from being out 7 games, the last 4 games that she's been back. She's done great with her patience. She's done great playing with her teammates and playing within the flow of the offense.
And Dia Jones picked up the foul, and now another foul is called on Texas A&M. You see the Carter effect this season, the record with her and without her. And we say 4 and 4 without. She didn't play 7 full games, but if you include that second half of that LSU game when she didn't play, that counts as one of those losses. You can see just the impact she's had throughout her 3 years playing here for Texas A&M, really highlighted by what has happened this year.
Every year she has added something different, and when you think about her maturity over the course of, even from the beginning of this year to where she is now, the maturity that she's had.
Wilson picked up her second personal foul for A&M. That gets Aaliyah Jackson into the game. And off the miss, it'll be an A&M ball with 14.5 to go in the first quarter.
One of the things you got to be surprised about for Alabama, they have not really attacked the paint. They're settling for outside shots right now. Sierra Johnson, who was kind of foul prone. You drive the ball at her, a lot of times she ended up in foul trouble, which is what Texas A&M Coach Blair has talked about, keeping her out of foul trouble. But you don't even go at her. You don't even put her in a position to possibly foul.
Washington off to Johnson. Down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Davis to beat the buzzer. And that is the end of the first quarter. Well, it was a very hot start for Alabama, but they went 1 for their last 11 from the field. Tamika playing 40 minutes a game and just really trying to keep it together during that period of time.
Well, I think that's important to note, too, is with Kennedy Carter out, bench players had to step into roles that they weren't necessarily familiar with, right? But now Kennedy Carter's back. You have more players that have that experience of being out there and that can actually contribute on the offense and the defense.
Carter can't hit, and a rebound for Lewis. Alabama ice cold after that hot start. They went on a 10-0 run to take a 10-2 lead. Lewis had it knocked out of bounds by the Aggies. Alabama ball.
I like that Lewis is actually attacking the basket. That's something that I just said right before the break. Attack the basket, try to get Sierra Johnson to step up. They started the game off, their first play is being able to get the ball down low by driving in.
Lewis, Johnson, got a over-the-head pass to Lewis, and he'll reset. Shot clock at 4. Sierra Johnson knocks down a 3 while getting knocked down. Both teams struggling. I'm sorry,
this is a little bit different right here. You see Alabama is actually playing man-to-man right now. The first game they played against, they only played zone. They played 40 minutes of zone, so this is a little bit of a switch-up.
Good help by Walker to come in and get the block of Carter. Lewis, deep 3. Long rebound and a reset here for Alabama. Abrams, the floater will not drop.
And of course, India Jones will be there to get that rebound.
Both teams struggling from the field, under 30% right now. Johnson on the turnaround. Out of bounds. It will be Alabama ball. Alabama is playing without someone who had entered the starting lineup in the last 4 games. Deja Benjamin has a foot injury, and she is done. She will have surgery tomorrow morning, according to Christy Curry. She tried to give it a go against Mississippi State, played just 7 minutes, and had to shut it down. So the rotation, not what it was at the start of the month right now for Alabama. And it's going to be a walk called on Abrams.
It's interesting because when you look at both teams' offense, neither one of them really look like they're able to get a flow going. Of course, you see on the bench, Deja Benjamin with the foot injury.
Yeah, third on the team in scoring at 8 points a game, also with 4 rebounds on average a game. Her freshman year came to an end February 24th of last year because of a broken foot. This is the opposite foot where she's dealing with a fracture. Jones fights inside.
And I love that post-up right there. India Jones down there battling. She knows she has a mismatch. She's directing her offense where to pass the ball so that she can get that high-low pass.
Johnson needs help. No, she doesn't.
Gotta keep it alive.
5 points for Johnson, 8 for Walker. Alabama on top by 3.
And Alabama now in the zone that Texas A&M was used to seeing early.
They double Johnson. Jones gets called for the foul. That'll be her second personal foul.
let's take a look back at India Jones and just how the position, being able to get the right position. And of course, India Jones is, like you said, she needs help. No, she doesn't.
She'll help herself.
As long as she doesn't pick up that pivot foot, she's all good.
Jones stays in the game. Gary Blair just made eye contact with her and held up 2 fingers, saying, "You've got 2 fouls." Walker, rare open look for her, and she knew she had it. Timeout called by Texas A&M. So they had kept Jasmine Walker in the box for a little while. Figure out all the combinations. South Carolina's locked in at 1. Ole Miss is locked in at 14. Outside of that, there is a huge range for all the other teams. Down at the bottom, Auburn could be 11-13, Vanderbilt 11-13, so maybe not that big down there, but Missouri could finish anywhere from 8th to 13th. I mean, going into the final 2 games of the regular season, that's a big spread. A&M could finish anywhere from 2nd to 6th. Washington with a shot clock at 5, knocks it down for 3. First points for the senior.
And Texas A&M, that hustle from that play, making the small move, but you could hear the bench counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Washington able to hear that and knock down that shot.
Johnson working with Walker. To Abrams. Abrams knocks it down for 2. First points for Megan Abrams, of course. Her last field goal was one that Alabama won't forget anytime soon, flying in off the miss to get the tip in at the buzzer to win in Starkville.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Everybody was so impressed. She's on the right side of the floor, and she shoots with her left hand. She gets that left-handed chip, and you had to remind everybody, well, she is actually left-handed, so she comes off the screen. It's just harder to guard a left-handed player. We're so used to seeing right-handed players, so.
In that game winner, she showed some Tamika Catchings level vertical leap, I must say.
She almost dunked on it. Is that what you're saying?
Allie Craig Cruz was in the game briefly. Now she checks out. Sierra Johnson picked up the foul. Her second personal. There's Jasmine Walker.
And Kayla Wells, that's a good shot for her. Texas A&M, they got to figure out a way to get her going. Like, they got to get the ball in her hands to get her in a position where she can score.
Trying to get Copeland posting up. Barber uses the dribble to get open and knocks down the 2. Hannah Barber, who scored 5 points against Mississippi State, all in the second half, gets her first points tonight. Bama, after that long scoring drought, that cold streak from the field, they've made their last 4 field goal attempts.
And you're never really at ease when you got Kennedy Carter on the floor.
Carter trying to get her teammates involved, trying to open things up a little bit, but Johnson can't hit. Rebound to Walker. Abrams off the window will get it to drop, and things are falling now for Alabama. 5 straight shots made. They're up by 9 on the road.
The bank is open right now, Eric. And this is what Texas A&M did not want. Coach Blair said, we got to start this game, and we got to take it to them. We cannot give them confidence. And you see the way Alabama is playing. They have a lot of confidence. They're in the flow of their offense. They're switching up the defenses on the defensive end. They're making Texas A&M uncomfortable, and that's what you got to do to stay in the game.
After the miss by Carter, she's now 1 for 8 from the field. Lewis. Copeland wins the battle for it, and she'll earn a trip to the free throw line.
That's what you got to do. Got to put your head down. You got to drive the ball to the basket. Lewis does a great job of driving, just trying to get the ball down low. Copeland able to get that rebound, or catch it, not even a rebound, catch it out of the air and go straight up.
First trip to the free throw line for Alabama here tonight. They were 11 of 15 Sunday against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this is the first time that I've had an opportunity to see Alabama in person play. Both have watched them play and scouting for other games. But I'm impressed by the way that they're playing. I'm impressed by the way that they executed the game plan, what they talked about in shoot-around. Thus far, they have executed in the game.
13-3 run for Alabama to go on top by 11. On the run, it's Washington.
Shambria Washington was one of the main factors in the first game that Texas A&M beat them. 4 for 4 from the three-point line.
Copeland inside. Ryan Copeland now with 6 points and 5 rebounds. Carter, she just does not have it as of yet here tonight. 1 for 9 from the field.
Well, the one thing we know about Kennedy Carter is it doesn't matter if she's 1 for 9 or 1 for 15. She always believes her next shot is going in.
Allie Craig-Cruz back into the game, and she threw it to Carter. Carter 1 on 2, and Craig-Cruz will give the foul. Well, I wonder if the numbers for Texas A&M all time are in Kennedy's head at all. She's got 4 points here tonight. Came in needing 8 to pass Lisa Branch for 3rd on the all-time list. Johnson off the window for 2.
Great look right there by Sierra Johnson. She looked for a minute like she was going to pass the ball out. But I like this matchup between her and Ashley Knight. Johnson has proven that she can bang down low for sure, but also being able to hit those easy shots.
Foul called. Count the basket and a chance for a three-point play for Alabama. Carter picks up the foul.
And Ashley Knight, we just talked about Sierra Johnson. We just talked about this matchup. Ashley Knight able to come back down and give her a little bit of her own medicine.
Well, one thing about this Alabama team, you may not have seen them in person this year, but you've seen all these players. This is a veteran group that has come back here this year. I mean, here's Copeland, who's a junior. Knight is a senior. She'll head to the bench right now. Jordan Lewis, redshirt junior. Abrams in their 2nd year with the team. You've got a lot of kids who have played a lot of SEC games, and they are getting it all put together here in the month of February, getting ready for March.
Well, I think that really helps, especially when you start thinking about, Coach Blair.
Technical foul called on Gary Blair, who wanted an over-the-back call, didn't get it. He also wants to find any way to give his team a spark.
They've got to figure out what it will take. But you check that, Coach Blair on the top of the screen gets upset. The timeout, get called for the technical.
I'm going to make a safe assumption here that he's more frustrated with the play of his team compared to the calls by the officials, but the officials are going to get the brunt of his venom because he's trying to find any way to get his team going right now. And you saw him trying to fire them up a little bit too.
Well, I think you're right. You got to figure out if your coach will fight for you, despite the way that you're playing. At what point do you turn that corner and start doing better? They haven't figured out what they need to do from the offensive standpoint. They haven't figured out how to get that flow back. But you can tell, you can look at their eyes right now. They're a little bit more locked in, and you're hoping that will help produce.
Not locked in on defense on that trip. Alabama picks them apart again, and the Crimson Tide lead by 16 here in College Station. 7-0 run for Bama.
You can never underestimate this young lady right here. Kennedy Carter will figure out a way to try to put everything on her shoulders and get her through.
Sarcastic cheer from the crowd here in College Station.
And that is something that we've seen over and over again. It hasn't even been halftime yet. We've probably seen that happen 3 or 4 times within the flow of the offense. penetration to the basket. Post player steps up, bounce pass down low.
8 assists now for Alabama on 14 field goals.
Texas A&M going to put a little bit of a full court press to try to get themselves going. Maybe a little bit too passive on the defensive side, getting all the way down.
Barber across half court. Final minute, second quarter. Walker provided the early spark. Fighting inside, and Copeland has kept it going, and Alabama continues to get what they want in the paint right now against the Aggies.
I think it's always impressive from a coach's standpoint when their players can buy into the game plan.
Walker gets called for over the back here. Good first half for Araya Copeland. 4 of 5 from the field. She has 10 points and 5 boards. Another assist for Alabama. They've got 9 assists here in the first half, 5 assists for the Aggies. 4 fouls on each team. Carter perhaps looking for a 2-for-1, couldn't score. Battle for the loose ball, won by A&M.
It's all about the hustle plays, and Texas A&M has done a good job. Even though you look at the score, they've done a great job of getting the hustle play, making the extra pass, making the extra hustle.
Into the hands of Carter with 10 to go. Guarded by freshman Destiny Rice. Back to Wilson. Tough shot. Can't get it. Jones fights for the rebound, and that is it. Alabama had an impressive second half against Mississippi State. They've kept it going with Kayla Wells' name. She did not score in the first half. She attempted just 1 shot.
Well, Kayla Wells really has been non-existent. I mean, she's been out there for 11 and a half minutes, 0 for 1, 1 shot attempt, no rebounds, 1 foul, 1 assist. So I think that the game plan going in at halftime, Coach Blair definitely talked about getting the ball in her hand and trying to get her going.
Well, if they do that right now, it'll be a turnover because she's on the bench
I
to
hope
start
not,
the
right?
third quarter. So Wilson gets the second half start. Now you start to wonder, is something wrong with Kayla Wells? Does she have an injury or an illness? We'll have to see if she gets into the game here for Texas A&M. She was a full participant at shoot-around earlier this afternoon. Walker can't hit. Another fight for the rebound, and Sierra Johnson from Alabama getting in there to rip it away. Was that Sierra Johnson versus Sierra Johnson? It happened so quickly, was it?
It was.
Okay. Sierra versus Sierra, Johnson versus Johnson.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Alabama can continue to be the aggressors in this game. Texas A&M has been a little bit passive. They give the ball down low to Sierra Johnson. Post player Sierra Johnson, and she's not able to convert.
We're not seeing a lot of fight on the glass from Texas A&M here against Alabama. The rebounding margin increases for the Crimson Tide, who turn it over. That is their 7th turnover of the game.
Well, I know we talked about this in the first half, but Alabama is fighting for something. They are fighting for the opportunity to make it to the not just the conference tournament, to make it into the NCAA tournament. They are playing like that tonight.
Jones inside, gets the roll.
And that Sierra Johnson does so well. She's really good at being able to pass out of a double team sometimes, but just being able to see the open floor. Anytime India Jones is able to cut down there, she's really good at delivering the ball.
Lewis can't hit the 3. Washington's got the rebound. Drop it back to Carter, who will take a deep 3. 1 for 12 from the field.
Well, off of that, Coach Blair wants to get a little bit of a full court press going.
Yeah, you saw his frustration. Maybe the team not listening to him because At the end of the half, they went to the press, trying to speed things up a little bit. There's a block by Carter. Wilson. She was in the starting lineup when Carter was out with an injury. She gets a second half start here in place of Kayla Wells, and here comes the pressure from A&M.
Now they're trying to figure out something to get them going. Alabama slows the pace, trying to keep the game, keep the same rhythm of the game.
Abrams is fouled by Sierra Johnson. Instead, they gave it to Carter. Johnson's the one ran into her, but Carter picks up the personal. That's her second personal. Abrams. Copeland. We use that word confidence, and Copeland's playing with a ton of it right now.
She does such a good job of getting position on Sierra Johnson. And I always say it's easy for a post, not easy, but for a guard, it's easier for a guard to deliver the ball to a post player when they can see their numbers, and she's done a good job of posting up.
Well, Wilson is trying to do what she can to lead A&M back in this game. Came in averaging 6 points a game. She's got 6 right now, and it's a 12-point game.
Alabama's pace and the way that they've been able to play. Been good. Kennedy Carter comes out of nowhere.
We've seen Carter with a block shot, now with a steal, and now she'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
And Kennedy's been doing that since the first half, trying to figure out a way to get her team going. She gets that steal. Kind of a hard foul right there by Jordan Lewis.
First foul on Lewis, and here is Carter.
Carter is not able to get that shooting touch.
Abrams skying for the rebound. Tell me if you've heard that before recently. Feed inside to Copeland.
And points in the paint continues to be what Alabama does. They are figuring out a way. They figured out how to slow it down on the offensive end. In a half-court offense, they've not tried to attack. They've taken what the defense had given them.
18 paint points now for Alabama. Johnson answers.
Great turnaround by Sierra Johnson.
Walker. Tried to get it into Copeland, and Copeland gets called for the offensive foul. Dropped the shoulder down on Washington, who took the contact.
And we talk about this, the positioning right there. Copeland is figuring out a way to turn and get the ball. Just got to figure out a way just to go straight up. No need for that dribble right there. Go straight up.
Copeland's first personal foul. Kayla Wells is into the game. She's got it. Carter goes to the bench. Johnson. Abrams has it for Alabama.
Yeah, that's a tough shot for Sierra Johnson. I think the game plan, think about Alabama. They got 2 post players, Ashley Knight right there, and Copeland, who just went out of the game. Sierra Johnson has been in the game consistently, so they are just leaning on her. That's tiring. I can tell you from a post player standpoint, it's tiring when you have somebody like that.
Well, she still has her legs, apparently, because she knocks down a 3. 14 points for Walker, 4 for 8 from outside the three-point line.
Alabama knows what it feels like to be on top against Texas A&M. They did it the first time they played. Coach Curry is trying to make sure that that doesn't happen again. She said 27 minutes we were on top.
Jones looking for a call, doesn't get it. And here comes Alabama on top by 15. Sierra Johnson. Sierra Johnson over Sierra Johnson for two. Timeout, Texas A&M. This is the largest lead of the game for Alabama. That confidence continues to grow for the tie. At the end of one quarter, but it has been all Alabama since then. A&M had just a 2-0 lead in this game. That's it.
Well, Alabama has executed their game plan. Kayla Wells comes in, and this is something she knows she's got to figure out a way to get going.
So Megan Abrams is down and hurt. A foul was called on Ashley Knight from Alabama. I did not see what happened to Abrams. Going to assume maybe she got caught up in a screen. Christy Curry was out beyond half court yelling at the officials. I think I heard her yell, "I hope you take a look at that." We will get our media timeout right here, and we'll have a chance to take a closer look with 3:44 to go in the third period. And we'll take a quick peek here as we head to break. Abrams, tangled up with Carter. So we'll look at some replays during the break and be back. Welcome back to College Station. This conversation's been going on for the better part of 30, 35 seconds right now between our three game officials. We're going to show you a replay. We're going to get an explanation. It looks like there could be something more called here on Kennedy Carter. And we've got a view from the corner here. And watch Carter on the baseline give a hard shove to Megan Abrams. And Abrams went into Sierra Johnson of Texas A&M, and that's when she was grabbing her back. Now, the officials have called together the two head coaches, and Kulani Spurlock has come over to give you an explanation. So what do you got, Cash?
We got an unintentional technical foul on Kennedy Carter. So we'll take the two shots. Then we'll take the two shots for Kayla Wells. Then we'll come down here and take the two shots for Alabama, and then it'll be Alabama's ball.
So they'll tell the scores table right now.
So it's unobserved, not unintentional, unobserved. So obviously within the play of the Kayla Wells going to the basket. They didn't see that until they were able to look at the TV monitor.
All right, so here
Kennedy Carter pushes Abrams down. Technical foul.
So that was not called during live action. The officials went to the monitor during the timeout. And so they're going to give Carter the foul. Foul originally in the course of play was called on Knight. So for Knight, that's her third personal foul. She's the first player for either side to have more than 2 personal fouls. Now the officials are talking to the A&M players.
Kayla Wells will get her 2 shots.
And then there'll be 2 free throws for Alabama on the other end.
After video review and intentional foul called on Aggies number 3, Kennedy Carter. That's her third personal and the second on the team. Takes the title 6-2 after that. And then
That should be the third personal foul on Carter. Technical foul goes in the books as a personal foul, so that should be 3 on Carter. There was a foul called earlier that I thought was on Sierra Johnson, but they gave it to Carter, so that could develop into an issue here for Texas A&M as Wells, best free throw shooter of the team at 77%. She's just out of rhythm, out of sync. It just seems that way here tonight.
Well, she's out of sync because she really hasn't had an opportunity to get in sync. Her first thought coming in, I'm back in the game, take the ball to the basket, because that's what we're taught. When you can't get it, take the ball to the basket, chip to the free throw line, and try to get your rhythm.
So that's the first point for Kayla Wells. Now Jordan Lewis will go to the free throw line to shoot 2, and then it will be Alabama basketball after that. Lewis 71% from the free throw line. She's 3 for 3 tonight. Make it 4 for 4.
So now we'll go at Alabama's ball. You see Abrams on the side.
Well, that is, after everything was sorted out, that is the big concern, because you saw how when she was shoved into Johnson and really hit Johnson at an awkward angle and twisted the back and was grabbing at it right away. So it looks like she's getting some sort of work, some sort of stimulation on the back as she sits on the bench. And we have talked about how good she's been for Alabama as of late. Now Carter driving baseline for 2. So that will move her past Lisa Branch for 3rd on the all-time scoring list here at Texas A&M.
Well, one thing you know, Kennedy Carter is going to put her head down, and she's going to try to will her team back into this game. Kayla Wells knows that the responsibility also is on her to get going. But somebody's got to figure out how to stop this young lady, Walker, from shooting 3.
Too easy for Alabama. They just set a screen for her. She was wide open, and you know the way she's shooting right now, odds are it's going to drop. Carter, tough take. Last touched by A&M. It will be Alabama ball, and Jones will come back in.
Well, here we go. Carter trying to get herself going, trying to get her team into it. But, of course, I mean, if you watch Texas A&M, you've got to figure out a way. Walker had dominated from the three-point line all night long, and nobody guarded her.
Alabama's shooting 47%. A&M's just disinterested on defense is probably the best way to put it right now. And as a result, they're down by 19.
Alabama's done a really good job of not playing too fast. They've slowed it down. I mean, there's been some where they've been able to get it down in transition, but they have intentionally slowed the game down, and that's not where Texas A&M does their best. They do the best in transition games.
Wilson's provided a spark here for the Aggies. She's got 8. 6 coming since halftime, and here comes the pressure from A&M. Lewis calmly across half court, and Wilson gets called for the foul. So Wilson.
But Wilson is the one. Wilson is the one that you've got to watch. She's come out. She has been the bright side, the spark off the bench for this team.
Left side of your screen, you see Megan Abrams has come back into the game for Alabama. So we'll see how she's able to move. Open 3 Jasmine Walker's got 20 for the second straight game.
I'm trying to figure out for Texas A&M, what do you do to stop a player? Well, I know one thing, as a player, you might beat me once, you might beat me twice, but you're not going to keep beating me. And Walker just continues to step out. But Jordan Lewis, you have to respect her and what she's able to do. Of course, you gotta love that.
Yeah, we see you. So those 20 points against Mississippi State all came in the second half. She had an 0 for 5 start against Mississippi State. Tamika, you were a math major at Tennessee, right? Since that 0 for 5 start, what is Jasmine Walker from the field?
8 for 16. Oh, 8 for 11, I'm sorry. I was watching something else.
So Washington at the free throw line brings it down to a 19-point game.
I was watching Washington. She barely allowed the shot to touch the rim.
So Walker misses from the opposite side, and here's Wilson. Jasmine Williams into the game for Texas A&M, senior out of Houston. Williams travel.
Texas A&M. On the offensive end, Alabama has gotten any shot that they wanted. On the defensive end, they have kept Texas A&M on their heels. And they've gone from man-to-man, they've gone to 2-3, they've gone to a 3-2 zone. They just continue to switch it up, and they haven't been able to figure that out.
Abrams too strong off the window, knocked out of bounds by Texas A&M. It will be Bama ball, final minute of the third. Abrams. Sierra Johnson with the rebound for the Aggies. Carter on the bench right now for Texas A&M. And Jasmine Williams knocks down the three. She scored 8 on senior day. She's averaging just a couple of points a game, and that was a much-needed hoop for A&M, down by 16 now. Johnson to the basket.
Texas A&M, they're making those shots. They got people that are stepping up and hitting shots. They got to figure out what they need to do on the defensive end.
With Carter on the bench, who gets the final shot. Jones off the window, can't get it. Johnson's follow will drop. Jordan Lewis at the buzzer. Alabama will take a 16-point lead to the fourth quarter. So Sierra Johnson from Alabama with a 2-on-1. She'll get the finish. And the Crimson, winners of 3 of their last 4. That word again, confidence, playing with tons of it after the win at Mississippi State. They've carried that over here tonight. And they have held A&M in check.
A&M came out from the beginning as the aggressors. They jumped on Texas A&M. You said it earlier. The only lead that Texas A&M had in this game is 2-0 at the beginning of the game. Since then, Alabama's just been rolling.
Knight had the mismatch inside, couldn't take advantage of it, and a foul called on Sierra Johnson for Alabama. So much at stake in this game for both these teams. Texas A&M ranked 12th in the country right now. You see their numbers. Right now, Charlie Cream has them projected as a 4 seed. That's very important. They would host here in College Station in the first round of the NCAA tournament. However, a loss here today would really derail those plans against an Alabama team that is not in the tournament field right now. Foul called on Bama. And the game that's next for Texas A&M on the schedule at South Carolina on Sunday. Copeland comes back in. That's 4 on Knight, so she checks out. Copeland's played very well tonight for Alabama. As you take a peek at what's to come on Sunday, we'll have the SEC whip around in action on Sunday as well, just to keep you on top of everything that's going on. A&M and South Carolina. One of those games, Kentucky taking on Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Auburn. Alabama will close out the regular season at home against Mizzou.
And the woes just keep going on. Another foul called by India Jones. Copeland has done a great job of setting the tone between her and Knight. Knight just went out with 4 fouls, but between her and Knight, they have just been clogging down the middle of the paint, but they've been scoring.
Abrams. Well, she got her feet tangled up and gets called for a walk. Right now, Texas A&M playing without Kennedy Carter. She's watching from the bench. It's been a struggle for Carter. 2 of 14 from the field, has just 8 points. See the numbers for Carter. Her third personal foul was that one where they went to the monitor and called her for the technical.
Well, I think one of the things you've seen Carter do a much better job is share the ball. But I think tonight, some of the passes that she actually made were shots that she should have taken. And then some of the shots that she took were forced shots. So trying to figure out a way to get into the rhythm of the play.
Copeland back to Johnson. Barber back into the game for Alabama. Walker. Copeland inside. Batted away, and Alabama wins the battle for the loose ball.
Good hustle play right there, Alabama. We're used to Texas A&M coming up with that.
Well, that's been the mindset for Alabama this month of February. 4 wins in their 6 February games. Christy Curry trying to encourage her team that they still can play for a spot in the NCAA tournament, and they have played that way. They've been the hungrier team here tonight. Johnson off the window for 2.
Well, that's a good look right there by Sierra Johnson. And if Texas A&M can feel the energy that the fans just gave them, and they can figure out how to get some stops on the defensive end and get back down and get some scores, continue to get the ball down low. Sierra Johnson doing a great job.
Copeland scores again. She's got a double-double, her third of the season. 16 points, 10 boards. Carter and Wells will come in next dead ball for A&M. Wilson been good. Can't get it this time, and Copeland is fouled by Williams. So Wells and Carter come on for A&M.
And this is kind of what you've seen all night long. That pick and roll action, Copeland and Knight have been able to basically get whatever they want. Whenever they set that high pick and roll, force the defense to come out, attack the basket.
Walker. Copeland looks inside for Walker, who was grabbed by Wilson, who gets called for the foul. That's her 4th personal foul. Jones tried to knock it away from Abrams, and then Jones, a little too aggressive, reaches in and gets whistled for her 3rd personal.
Texas A&M trying to find that energy. Alabama doing a great job of just staying steady. They haven't done anything flashy. They've done basic basketball principles, but I think, like I said earlier, they have slowed down the pace, which has been so important.
Timeout called by Alabama before the ball was put in play. (60-44) Bama in the 4th, and she's been on target here tonight again.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the whole team, not just Coach Curry, but the whole team, staying in her ears, giving her the confidence And I think that's the important part.
There's a good hustle play by Wells, who got down on the floor, and she paid the price. She's limping as she gets up. Jones with the putback. One thing for Alabama here, they can't play back on their heels. They still have to be aggressive. Don't you think? There's still so much time left here in this fourth quarter.
They've got to be the aggressor. And I think the thing they got to do, too, is now they're in the half court, you slow the pace. Texas A&M is trying to speed them up and get them to play at a different pace.
There's going to be a foul on Lewis. Give credit to Kayla Wells here for getting on the floor.
It's the hustle plays that make the biggest difference in the game. But if Texas A&M is going to get back in this game, they're going to have to win the hustle plays, and they're going to have to attack the basket like Kennedy Carter just did.
And Alabama's going to have to stop Carter because you know she wants the basketball. Lewis is a very calm, controlled point guard. But right now it's in the hands of Barber in the backcourt. They've got only a second to get it across, and Johnson steals it. Up and in by Wilson. Timeout Alabama, and here come the Aggies.
You see the fans are up on their feet. They've been trying to find a way to get this team motivated all night long. But it started with Kenny Carter taking the ball to the basket. Shambria Walker, their half-court press, and then they get another turnover.
Out of the Alabama timeout, they turn it over. That's happened back-to-back timeouts now, and Carter couldn't get it. Johnson can't get it. But Johnson for Alabama takes it away.
And Texas A&M, you can feel it now. You can feel the way that they're playing.
Jump ball, possession arrow, Alabama.
A sense of urgency. And now they actually really want to win the game.
Washington will come in. Wilson will check out. Give her credit for trying to keep A&M afloat there in the early part of the second half. The largest lead was 20 for Bama. Abrams, Sierra Johnson, 4-3, money three from the senior.
And that is a big shot right there. Sierra Johnson stepped right into it. 3-point shot.
Carter, blocking foul, count the basket and a chance for a three-point play.
What can you say? Big-time players make big-time plays, and Shambria Walker ready for that shot. Locked and loaded right there. And on the flip side, Kennedy Carter says, can't let you get one. Able to get and one.
Lewis picks up the foul. That's her third. Jasmine Walker has made her way down to the end of the Alabama bench. And perhaps a cut there. They're going to cover it up. Wilson comes back as Jones checks out. So expect to see more of that pressure now from the Aggies.
Well, you knew Wilson wasn't going to be able to stay on the bench long. Been such an important part of this run. I mean, she's one of the players that has stepped up in different times of the game and hit some big shots.
"13 points now for Carter. Abrams gets by Wells and into the hands of Lewis. 4:20 to go in the fourth.
I think Alabama's done a really good job of being patient.
Johnson off the glass for two.
Texas A&M is trying to speed up the game, trying to get them to go. As soon as they get over the half court, they set up their half court offense.
Carter still cold from the field. 4 of 18, 0 for 4 from outside the three-point line.
This is the patience that you talk about with Alabama. They're using up the clock. They're trying to find.
Shot clock down to 5. Abrams, Johnson is going to have to heave it. Offensive rebound to Jasmine Walker. Approaching 3 minutes to go. Fourth quarter here in College Station. Lewis shut off. Copeland's had a big game and keeps it going. It's a new season high for Araya Copeland. 18 points on 8 of 13 shooting.
Texas A&M trying to figure out what do they need to do to get the offense flowing. Tell you what, they can't do a lot of dribbling. They got to get some shots up.
And a foul called on Alabama will send Sierra Johnson to the free throw line. You see the shot clock winding down, and Sierra Johnson just had to heave it up. And Jasmine Walker, right place, right time. That second chance opportunity converted by Copeland.
25, Ashley Knight in for Alabama.
Ashley Knight will come in. Copeland heads to the bench.
Well, between the two of them, they have had an amazing night. They've done a great job on Sierra Johnson. But Copeland has been a force. 3 fouls, going to the bench. But when she has been in the game, you have felt her impact. Whether it's playing defense on this young lady, Sierra Johnson, to just knock down another free throw, or on the offensive end, just scoring, career high.
Copeland's trying to get feeling back into her left hand as she checks out. Carter, a little too aggressive. That'll be 4.
Aggie spot number 3, Kennedy Carter. That's her 4th, team foul number 5.
So our producer, Anthony DeVita, is multitasking. He's keeping us in line, which, I mean, that's hard enough. But he's also been in contact with Charlie Cream because we're looking for real-time feedback on this game. And Charlie says that if Alabama wins this game over 12th-ranked Texas A&M, they will go from being out of the tournament to next 4 out. So you know the breakdown. There's the field of 64, then there's first 4 out, then next 4 out. Alabama will take it after wins over Mississippi State. And if they can hold on here, Texas A&M, to get them in the conversation in the NCAA tournament. Still a while to go in this game. Carter, no. Rebound, Jones and Knight tie it up. A&M ball.
Well, like you said, Christy Curry came into this game. We talked to her at shoot-around, and she said, one thing I told our team after Sunday, we celebrate, but then we get ready for the next game. And this was a huge opportunity for them to come in here, play number 12, ranked Texas A&M, get the win, and put themselves in a position to potentially get to the tournament.
Washington will go to the free throw line with 2:15 to go. So a win will jump Alabama into next 4 out. According to Charlie, it will not knock Texas A&M off a 4-seed line, but it would seriously dent their strength as one of those host schools.
Well, one of the interesting things is, Texas A&M will go and play South Carolina on Sunday. So sitting at number 1. They got a big task ahead of them, too, to get ready for that next game. But this game's not over.
No, it's not. 2:15 to go. Washington with another free throw. Brings it down to 11.
And I think this is the first time you really felt the sense of urgency from Texas A&M. They have not played like this, and if they would have consistently played like this from the beginning, I think you'd see a different score.
Well, we saw them bring the press at the end of the second quarter to try to turn the tide in the game, and now they've turned Alabama over here in the 4th with the pressure and a foul called on Jordan Lewis.
Well, the problem is when you look at that press, where they're catching the ball. They're catching the ball on the baseline. So Jordan Lewis really has nowhere to go. The defense and the offense are so close to the baseline, there's nowhere to go. You've got to catch the ball somewhere around the free throw line. You can't get that low. That way you allow yourself more space to dribble out, pass the ball out, and get it over half court.
1 of 2 for Johnson. 4 personal fouls now on Jordan Lewis, who stays in the game to handle this pressure, and Washington gets called for the foul. A&M's over the limit, so 2 free throws the rest of the way for Alabama.
I tell you what, Jordan Lewis has gotten beaten up all night. But at least he'll get rewarded for it, have the opportunity to get a couple free throws.
Well, Carter comes back into the game. Remember, she's got the 4 personal fouls. Well, Lewis only knows getting beat up. He had 12 stitches in his shooting hand this year. Her bowl cut her hand, so Lewis played through that. Her shooting numbers went down. But the last 3 games coming into this game was averaging better than 19 points a game.
And Carter back in the game, so you know where she's going.
Carter knocks it down. She's got 15. Sierra Johnson, good free throw shooter. She'll handle it here for Alabama in the backcourt as A&M pulls it back. 1:44 to go. Walker into the hands of Lewis. They look inside for Jasmine Walker. Before the shot, she'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Tonight, the SEC Now team will be back after Arkansas and Mississippi State. That's right, another big game coming up after we're done here at College Station. They'll recap all the games with highlights, analysis, interviews, and much more. 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. No one covers the SEC like we do. You can also see it streaming live on the ESPN app. Walker gets the roll.
And Walker has been on fire all night long. Started off the game ready to roll, and has continued.
Carter fouled on the shot. She'll shoot a couple. Walker now with 22 points. That's 1 shy of her season high, 2 shy of her career high. That's her 2nd personal foul.
Carter hit the first one. You can see them talking on the sideline, trying to figure out their press break their press has been really effective.
1 of 2 for Carter. That's going to hurt the comeback chances. 11-point game. Alabama able to beat the press. They attack the basket with Walker, who matches her career high now with 24. Wells. Wild shot. Good job by Knight playing with the 4 fouls just to stand her ground with her arms up. And we're in the final minute here in College Station.
And Coach Curry, Christy Curry, has got to be proud of the way that her team has stayed composed all night. When Texas A&M came up and they started putting that press on, Alabama got rattled a few times. Christy Curry calls a timeout. They get settled. They go back over the game plan, and they have executed it to a T.
Johnson with the shot clock at 2 at 1. It'll be a turnover as we approach half a minute to go, and then it's thrown away by Texas A&M.
You have Shambria Washington on the left side and Sierra Johnson on the right side. Who are you passing the ball to?
Alabama's going to take a timeout. Well, the 4-game winning streak is going to come to a close here for Texas A&M at the hands of the Alabama Crimson Tide, who continue their late season surge. Jasmine Walker with 24 points and Araya Copeland with a double-double here tonight. 18 points and 12 rebounds, very efficient from the field.
Well, Araya Copeland came in and she knew what her job was. Her job was to defensively help shut down Sierra Johnson. Offensively, doing the little things around the basket, setting the screen, rolling to the basket, getting position, waiting for that pass, getting rebounds, double-double, 18 points, 12 rebounds. I mean, she's been phenomenal.
Alabama shooting 44% from the field here tonight. On average this year, A&M's been holding opponents to 37% from the field. So Alabama getting what they want. We've seen it throughout here tonight. And A&M will pull back, and Alabama can start to celebrate. Christy Curry starts moving down the bench. Not quite ready to kick into the full celebration. Jay Rail whits it in the game, gets called for the foul. There'll be a couple of free throws here for Lewis.
Jordan Lewis on the line for Alabama, shooting 2.
Well, not a lot of celebrating from Alabama yet because they're acting like they've been there before. And you know what? They have pretty recently.
Well, they celebrated, they celebrated Sunday, and you could see that celebration. But Coach Curry, I mean, she's got to be so proud of her team and the way that they've come out and they've taken care of business. They got one more game left in the regular season before we get to the SEC tournament next week, but this is a big win.
Great job at the free throw line tonight for Alabama, 14 of 15. A&M will dribble it out. One final shot from Wells, who will get her first field goal of the game. And the Alabama Crimson Tide, for the first time, they have back-to-back wins over top 15 teams, and great friends Christy Curry and Gary Blair take a moment at half court. Alabama, you've gone from being out of the field to next 4 out, according to Charlie Cream in bracketology.
Well, they came out, they executed from the beginning. Defensively, they set the tone. Offensively, they just basically took it at them. They were the aggressors on the offensive end, and they consistently showed throughout the whole game, the offensive end, the defensive end, big players stepped up.
To be clear, they're still out of the NCAA tournament field, but they are very much in the conversation right now after a win on the road over Texas A&M. For Tamika Catchings and our crew, I'm Eric Freed. So long from College Station. Back to the studio.